to 4 right long. To stop. That felt good, but let's check the times.
Hello and welcome to ATribeCalledCars. I hope you're doing well. In this video I'm going to be telling you about Dirt Rally 2.0 and why it's not for everyone. Now Codemasters gave me a copy ahead of its release date on the 26th of February, and as of the 18th we can now tell you what the game is like, which is why you're going to see a lot of Dirt Rally 2 videos going live. Before I dive in though, a quick bit of housekeeping. If you're new around here, be sure to subscribe for more car and racing game content. It would be hugely appreciated. I'd love to break 1,000 subscribers. You guys can help make that happen. It would be amazing. Anyway, back to what this game is like. Dirt Rally 2.0 is the sequel to Dirt Rally, with the 2.0 bit meant to be a nod to the classic Colin McRae games from yesteryear. At Dirt Rally 2's heart, it is a hardcore rally simulator that will make you pay very dearly for being a bad driver. Having played the game for around 8 hours using both a steering wheel and a controller, I've learnt the hard way that mashing the accelerator and braking too late is a terrible idea. I've also learned that you need the reactions of Lewis Hamilton to save a slide in a Group B rally car, that front-wheel drive cars are hugely forgiving, and that driving smoothly is the key to success. Or at least far fewer dents in your polygon-based rally car. Being the sucker for pain that I am, I switched off all assists before I actually drove any car at all. It's at this point, and with the interior cockpit view, of which one features the steering wheel and the other doesn't, that Dirt Rally 2.0 proves most challenging. You have to be so delicate with every input that it's mentally tiring to drive fast, mirroring real life. Minus the G-Force's ability to actually die, and the smell coming from your co-driver's trousers after a near miss. With the steering wheel, and it's a much less frustrating experience, although I'm dubious if a Group B rally car would actually be that difficult to drive at moderate speeds in real life. In Dirt Rally 2.0, just one tiny mistake and you're upside down in a tree, even though it actually felt like you were going that fast. To be fair, it's not just that I need a lot of practice. The sensation of speed seems muted, with 65 miles an hour feeling like 35, which makes it easy to misjudge your entry speed into a corner. Not only that, Dirt Rally 2's graphics can be distracting. There's a weird graphical shimmer every now and then, while the views where you can see the speedometer as part of the head-up display glitches. You get this weird sort of black box that appears every now and then behind it. Fixable things in future updates, admittedly, but annoying nonetheless. Then there's the visuals themselves. Inside the car you can see all the switchgear in suitably impressive detail. Enough presumably to help the forthcoming virtual reality support make the game feel like you're actually driving a rally stage in a rally car during a rally championship. But the outside models, such as the people in the crowd, the foliage on the floor and the surfaces below your tyres, are more Xbox 360 than Xbox One. Coming from Forza Horizon 4, my eyes almost started bleeding from the lack of detail. The weather effects are also low rent, with the rain polygons low in resolution and happy to pretend physics doesn't apply. But then the close-up gathering of water as the wipers clear your view does look good. Dirt Rally 2 does have moments where it looks photorealistic, mind you. The gloomier times of day when the sun is beaming into your face and reducing visibility, and at night when your headlights can only see so far ahead, all prove pleasing and realistic to behold. Difficulty-wise, the game can be brutal, and the slow classic rally cars and their front-wheel drive powertrains, easily tameable, soon paved the way to a twitchy, spin-prone Porsche. Driving techniques that worked initially really rather well now prove woefully ineffective. That means you have to put the time in to succeed, which only highlights Codemasters' focus on realism. With that said, there have been times when a controller just seems to be inadequate for the job at hand, as is the case in Project Cars 2. Basically, it just feels undrivable. This is especially true when you start to see just how different each car handles and how they react to each different surface. The classic Lancia, for instance, loves to understeer without a touch of toe-out adjustment. The MG Metro 6R4, meanwhile, of Group B rally fame, has a nasty habit of unsavable oversteer. Partly, I would assume, because of its ridiculously short wheelbase, but also because it has well over 400 horsepower. When it rains, you also have to deal with far greater braking distances and a much higher chance of the wheels locking up. Brake too hard and understeer off the edge of a cliff is assured. Veer off the road and nudge the dirt with your rear tyre meanwhile, and the surface friction change will make the car snap hard. It's these moments that make Dirt Rally 2 such a chore or joy, depending on how quickly you can adapt to the White Cliffs of Dover steep difficulty curve. For those wanting a quick bash of fun without much effort, you are way better off in Forza Horizon 4. If, however, you crave a heart-pounding experience with all the highs and lows that go with driving a dangerously fast car along very thin roads, you will find little better out there. Now, Dirt Rally 2 does make some mistakes beyond the mixed bag visuals. The car reset option when you go off course, for instance, comes and goes before you have the chance to use it. It just seems annoyingly inconsistent, or perhaps it's another deliberate move designed to penalise you for being terrible. I also dislike the lack of help. In real life, I can fathom why a car is misbehaving. In this game though, it just feels like regardless of how you take a particular corner, you can get the same ridiculously annoying result, as in a crash. Perhaps a slightly easier and more structured set of initial challenges, explaining common driving mistakes, and gently increasing the power output of your car would have gone a long way for beginners. Of course, that's not to say I want Codemasters to hold my hand and pat me on the head for being a good lad, but I fear a lot of players will go elsewhere quite rapidly after the 28th crash and finishing 1 minute after everyone else for the 10th time.
Into 6 left, extra long, tightens 4.
Criticism could also be levied at the career mode, which is involving, and to be fair, I've not put a huge amount of time in it. But ultimately, it's really only about making minor changes, repairing your car, being consistent when you drive, and then off you go again. There is some research and upgrade stuff to do on the side, but ultimately, if you want the most deep mechanic type experience, sadly, there really isn't much out there for you still. There are also only 6 places to race at least that's what I've seen, and while distinctly different, such as Argentinia's very rocky narrow roads and the Spanish rather fast winding tarmac sections, it still feels like Codemasters has been a little cheap. The fact I seem to race these same stages over and over as well really does not help that issue. Fortunately, extras such as online racing, daily and weekly challenges, and the historic event where you get to drive Group B classics give you something else to do if you want a bit of variety. So should I buy Dirt Rally 2.0 then? Well, to be fair, I am going to spend more time in this game, make some videos and help you guys decide, but ultimately, I'm kind of in the middle, to be fair. On the one hand, it's a fiendishly difficult rally simulator that offers more depth than its predecessor, and that's good news for the pros among you who really take this kind of thing seriously. But on the other hand, many of the changes are skin deep and will be hard to notice for those who are new to the series, while the sheer difficulty level will send some gamers packing, particularly those who only have access to a controller. You could also argue it's not a big enough departure over its predecessor, visually and mechanically, but then for replicating the brilliance of Rally, it is one of the best games that money can buy. If Colin McRae was still here, I'd imagine he would have approved.
Open to the crest, 100. 5 right on, opens 30. 4 right on, open to the crest, 80. Slow, 3 left.